they can pinch. One chilly December night, I went to the pet store to get some feeders. And as I was collecting my feeders, I noticed a bin that was on the counter that had 3 hermit crabs in it. And I asked the person working, what's the deal with the hermit crabs? Because that pet store does not sell hermit crabs. They said that somebody dropped them off and I could have them. And honestly, this is how most people seem to get hermit crabs. And I don't mean the same exact story, like, you know, they're taking on someone's secondhand pet. I mean, it's more of an impulsive thing. People impulsively get hermit crabs a lot. And the problem with impulsive pets is usually people aren't prepared. Another unique issue when it comes to hermit crabs is the fact that they are usually catered towards children. And we see a lot of pets that are more catered towards children's pets. They're often neglected. If it gets sick, let's just get a new one. That's kind of how it goes. So let's do a little bit of backstory here. When I was a kid, one of my favorite pets that I could get, other than Mexican jumping beans, I was a strange kid, was hermit crabs. And I loved hermit crabs. I loved my hermit crabs. The issue was keeping the hermit crabs alive. And come to find out, we did not have good hermit crab care back in the 90s. It was not good. It was a very small critter keeper, colored gravel, and a water dish that had the gel water in it because they couldn't go in water for some reason. And maybe if your parents were feeling really generous, they'd buy you a little palm tree for the enclosure or maybe a coconut hide. If you know anything about hermit crabs, which I sure didn't back then, and a lot of people didn't, that's just an awful enclosure for them. It's not going to suit them. A lot has come to light when it comes to hermit crab care. However, that still has not stopped impulsive purchases that result in very inadequate setups, very cheap setups. And I actually decided for this video, my free pet, I wanted to kind of total what I actually invested in buying them a proper setup, okay? And that's omitting the 40-gallon tank, okay? Because the 40-gallon tank is not gonna be included in the price. Since we moved our ball python into a front opening enclosure, I already had that 40-gallon on the shelf, so that just kind of worked out. But typically a 40-gallon will run you like around 200 bucks. It depends really what kind you get. But yeah, I thought I'd add this up just to kind of show how much the proper care for a throwaway, impulse, cheap kid's pet really cost for like an actual appropriate enclosure. I guess that's enough yapping. Let's go ahead and start putting sand in this enclosure. Okay, so behind me, this is the 40-gallon that we will be using for the hermit crabs. What I found out through my research is usually about 10 gallons per hermit crab is what is considered like appropriate. So this is overkilling it a little bit because I have 3 hermit crabs and only 2 are like pretty big. There's one smaller one in there, and I'll introduce you to my new hermit crabs that I'm insanely excited about. Like embarrassingly excited about for like a woman in her 30s. I don't feel like I should be this excited about having hermit crabs, but this is my redemption, okay? I have my adult money to put into my pet. I don't have to ask my parents to take me to the pet store and beg them for a little plastic palm tree. And it's so freeing as an adult to like be able to take my adult money and put it into my animals and not have to ask anybody. So not only is the enclosure size like super important when it comes to hermit crab care, but more importantly, I'd say, is the substrate. So what seems to be generally accepted from my Reddit scrolling is 1 part Eco Earth to 5 parts sand. And the substrate needs to be about 6 inches deep. Like, it's important because that's how they molt. Well, see, when I was a kid, they didn't really molt. They would just die eventually. One time I thought my hermit crab died as a kid, and then I picked up a shell and it was up in there, and it was my first experience finding out that they molt. My parents were surprised. We were all surprised. We thought we were burying this hermit crab, okay? And suddenly it's alive. Molting, really important for any invertebrate. Yeah, scorpions, tarantulas, all spiders, all inverts, my crawfish, everybody molts. But anyway, so we're gonna fill this up with a lot of sand. All right, so I've got 1 50-pound bag of sand in, and I just added my Eco Earth. I'm not gonna lie, putting the sand in here kind of sucks because it's really heavy, so I can't like lift the bag. I can't move this on the ground because then I can't lift it back up there. So anybody who thinks a hermit crab is an easy pet, I'm already annoyed. And we still have a bunch of sand to go, so. It's about 6 inches. I think I'm gonna put in a little bit more Eco Earth. All right, so I've added some more Eco Earth and I'm just mixing it all together, you know. But this seems like a great consistency. Much better than the pink gravel I used when I was 7. Please don't cancel me for that. Okay, this is pretty freaking great. But yeah, the substrate's important. That's why I was pretty particular when it came to it. Has to be play sand. Calci sand, not good for them. I forget why, but I read that, so don't use that. And play sand's also way cheaper, way cheaper. Like, I can't imagine filling up a 40-gallon with the sand that they sell in pet stores. It's like $6 for a bag like this big, like a Ziploc bag full. So there's no way. All right, so now we've got some decorating to do. I'm going to be using some of this. Hermit crabs, they like to burrow and they like to climb. Something they become very deprived of. When someone sees hermit crabs at the mall for sale and they impulse buy them in their little crappy container, there's like never stuff for them to climb on. So we are going to use this as their water dish. They have to be able to fully submerge in this. So what I liked about this is it's shallow and then it goes to deep. And so I think that'll work really good for them. And we're also going to put some conditioned water in that for them. They also need a little bowl of salt water, but I'm gonna use the salt water for the dish they already have in their tank. This is probably kind of weird for you guys to see in a hermit crab video, but I just think it's so hilarious that people put hamster wheels in with their hermit crabs because I don't know, like, it's cute. I found this piece of driftwood like at the pet store, not outside. But it's really cool. Like, I thought it looked like a little house. Like, here's the chimney. Do we see it? No? Okay, that's okay. And we're gonna put lots of cork bark in here for them because they like that. And this driftwood. I got these thingies. Okay, so I wanna hang these thingies. So here is what we have so far. We've got this coconut, we have a thing to climb on, we have our fresh water, driftwood, lots of cork, a hamster wheel, and we're going to grab their dish out of here. So this is where they've been since I took them home. Oh boy. This will be their little salt water dish. So I'm gonna rinse this out and put that in there. And then as you see, I've got lots of shells. We gotta put those in as well. Food product, what I'm going to be feeding them is this stuff, Florida Marine Research, hermit crab treat. And we have the food and we have a Calci black. I have their food dish over here. I'm gonna give them food. I'm gonna throw in the Calci black. And then also for the salt water, I'm gonna be using this, but upon my research, I found out this is not the best salt water stuff. So I'll probably have to order something else over Amazon. But for now, this is what they're getting because this is what I could find at the pet store. You know, pet stores don't always carry, ironically, what they should be carrying for pets. They don't seem to carry the appropriate things. All right, so the tank is together. I absolutely love how it came out, but before I show it to you, I wanted to mention a couple things. One, I'm gonna be using a heat pad on the back of the enclosure, like not under it, but on the back. And also I'm not going to be using UVB. I know there's a lot of discourse on how that works, if it's good for them, if it hurts them. With what information I have now, I'm not going to be using UVB. If I do decide to, I actually have some little UVB lamps from Tarantula Cribs. They're the little LED ones that they sell. They gave me some. I figured I could try using it, but some people say it could be harmful. So I have to do a little bit more research on that. So as you can see, they're in this little makeshift bin I put together. And yeah, they have painted shells. Ew, painted shells, sad. But yeah, so there's these two big ones. And one of these big ones actually really, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They were wet and then I pulled them out of the water. I dumped the water dish in here and this is my fault. One of them actually changed their shell and then they changed back to this ugly thing. So I'm annoyed. This little one right here, this is the littlest of them. This one came in this shell and changed shells that first night as well. So they were ready for a new shell. Anybody else have like very traumatic stories as a child getting pinched by these guys? Cause I definitely do. But yeah, so They're really cute. They're really, really cute. So hermit crabs are actually very long-lived animals, and they require a lot more specialized care than once thought. They're also social animals, so you want to have more than one. They can pinch. It f***ing hurts. I learned that at a very young age, though I did continue to handle my hermit crabs as a kid. I really don't feel like getting pinched today. This is dechlorinated room temperature water, and I'm just gonna rinse them off because I got them all dirty by accident. Sorry guys. I remember giving them baths as a kid, and I would sometimes put stuff in their claws. Boy, they are very pinchy. Let's go ahead and put them in their new tank. Oh my goodness, I'm so stoked to see them wander around. Like, they're gonna be very fun to watch. So here it is. I do plan on adding more to it, and I think I'm going to add a deeper water dish because it doesn't seem like the big ones can fully submerge in it, and there's a couple more things I want to pick up, but for the most part, here it is. They really seem to enjoy climbing this like thing, so I ended up moving the water dish and then adding a bunch of sphagnum moss inside under like where they would fall just in case they fell. I was kind of worried they'd crack their shell on the water dish or something, so that's why I added a bunch of moss there. I also have more shells coming. There's a couple more things, you know, but here it is for the most part, and I'm pretty happy with it. I really like it, and yeah, I'm kind of obsessed. I've been checking on them every freaking hour, like just seeing what they're doing. They're always busy, and they're just such a fun pet. Like, seriously, this is like a really exciting thing for me. They're such a fun pet. Like, I don't even care. This is one of my favorite kinds of pets, and I just really put this off for a long time, and I feel like so fulfilled that I finally have some hermit crabs in my adult life. So it's pretty great. But yeah, if you have any constructive criticism, let me know, and hope you guys enjoyed. That is it for today. I hope I did okay with my first actual correctly set up hermit crab enclosure. I tried my best. I'm still learning, but I think I did okay. I'm sure I'll find out, because if I didn't do okay, there will be a post somewhere with a lot of people yelling at me on the internet. But I will see you guys soon. Like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not, and you want to be. Don't forget I have an Instagram to use probably way too much of that Tarantula Kat. You can go follow me there. I also have a website, tarantulakat.com. Let's get into the members packs.